Yes, we are live. We can start.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this training session in the mark of Ramadan sessions that SMS is organizing. Today we will be going over Cradle to Cradle certified product standard. And before we move forward, some housekeeping rules. The meeting will have a duration more or less of 60 minutes and 1 hour. Okay, the presentation obviously will be in English. To avoid interruptions and noise, please keep your microphones muted. You can also submit your questions during the meeting in the chat, or of course after the meeting, after the session, during the Q&A part, or through the questionnaire that I will be sending through the chat also to request you kindly your feedback about the information that we shared today, and also if you are interested to learn more about what SMS and EIG, how we can support you. And obviously, since you are assisting this session, you will be also have a copy of these slides after the training. Okay. All right, so brief introduction. Well, first of all, thank you, Sustainable Management System team, to organize these training sessions and for inviting Eco-Intelligent Growth. We've been partnering for almost, soon going to be a decade in a few years on accompanying different organizations, enterprises in addressing sustainability challenges. Mubashir Rahman, I pass the word to you to give a brief introduction. Mubashir, you're muted.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mubashir. I'm working with SMS as an executive. I mainly handle the HR department, and I also do audits and trainings. So today's session is mainly for us cradle to cradle. We are doing it with EIG. Aya is gonna be the presenter for today. So I'd like to welcome everyone to today's session, and thank you to everyone that joined. So SMS, I think most of our clients already know what we do and what we are doing currently. So cradle to cradle, as I know, I mean, I don't have the wide idea about the whole thing, but as much as I know, it helps to move industries away from traditional make to waste and more goes to, the regenerative system. That's the basic that I know about cradle to cradle. So we are really grateful to EIG for collaborating with us and sharing their experience, their expertise today. So I think without taking much of your time, I'd like to hand over the floor again back to Aya to begin the session. So yeah, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mubashir. Very kind of you. So just a brief introduction. I'm Aya Ulan. I'm responsible of the circular product area within Eco-Intelligent Growth, and also an accredited cradle-to-cradle assessor. And I've been working with Eco-Intelligent Growth for over 4 years now. And EIG, for those, some of you are familiar with our work. We've been working together for quite some time now, and we are very proud of it and happy to support you. But for those who are not familiar with us, so we are a strategic consultancy firm. We've been working in area of circular economy for over 20 years now. We are one of the first ones also to support cradle to cradle design framework, even before the certification scheme was, let's say, established. And we work across different scales. We are based in Spain. in Barcelona and Madrid, but we work worldwide thanks also to our international partners, such as Sustainable Management Systems. And our approach is to, aligned with cradle-to-cradle principles, that's something that we'll see further, is to let's say, not only to reduce the negative impacts, but actually maximize positive impacts. That's the purpose, let's say, of the cradle to cradle. Circulate goods, not bads. That's a famous phrase from one of the co-founders of this concept of cradle to cradle, William McDonough. And so starting with this vision from EIG, we, like I said, we work on 3 different scales. We work on the product level. We also work on the built environment level. And of course, on a much higher level to support companies in their strategy. What we call purpose to impact. We do support through different type of services, but what most important here to highlight, in line with cradle-to-cradle principles, we celebrate diversity. So there is no, let's say, solution one size fit all. We do adapt and see what's your, let's say, priority need and support you with this holistic strategic vision during this journey. So today, what we are going to look at is the cradle-to-cradle vision. What is our approach? Our approach is, as it is designed initially, a continuous improvement tool. And from EIG, what we support is understand the current situation, understand what are the opportunities of improvement, and collaborate together to define a roadmap, an action plan, and support you in integration of this best practices in order to be able to obtain eventually a recognition, a third-party recognition, which is cradle-to-cradle certified recognition, which helps companies eventually to also communicate in a more comprehensible way all of those, let's say, achievements in the area of sustainability. So one thing before we move forward about the cradle-to-cradle design framework, here are several questions that I think it's important that we all ask ourselves within the value chain or different actors, whether we are thinking when designing or manufacturing products, whether they are designed intentionally for circularity. Can we prove, can we demonstrate certain claims on sustainability in a verified, measurable manner with sound evidence? Are we anticipating potential risks, whether it's potential audit, a headline from, let's say, competitor scrutiny, a regulation that can be implemented in the next years? How are you preparing for that? How are you integrating sustainability and circular economy perspective in your way, how you are manufacturing things, how you design products? So these are some of the questions that with cradle-to-cradle design framework, we are helping to find a right answer, so to speak. So moving forward, like I said, today we are going to look at a cradle-to-cradle design framework very briefly. The next step would be understand how cradle-to-cradle certified product standard works, its structure and the scope. Why choose cradle-to-cradle certified? Obviously, what are the benefits for you if you are undergoing this assessment? Certification journey for those, especially those that hadn't yet experienced the assessment process and understand what to expect on a high level. And if you have a few minutes left, I'll do my best to reserve some time to respond to your questions. Okay, and of course, otherwise, please reach out to SMS and EIG after this session for further details. Okay, so cradle-to-cradle. Cradle-to-cradle is a design framework for circular economy. I'm curious to know whether the invitees or attendees of this session today are familiar with this concept, and also whether you've been already working by implementing this framework in your production processes, in your design processes. You can just react to this to this question through the Zoom. So this way I can also understand how many of the audience are familiar with it. I don't know. I don't know actually if everyone is allowed to do how to say reactions through Zoom.
Yes, there is an option for reactions. I think they can send likes and raise their hands and all everything. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Super.
they're sending hearts and all everything.
That's great. Unfortunately, I cannot see that due to my configuration of screen, but that's great to know that there are attendees that are familiar with Cradle to Cradle. So indeed, I will not be we will not do a dive deep on the design framework because that would require a separate training session. Perhaps we can prepare one specific for that. What we will see is, let's say, sort of an overview just to make sure that we are on the same page. So cradle to cradle is a concept that has been coined by William McDonough, an American architect, and Michael Braungart, a German chemist, like the chemical engineer, who have published earlier in 2000s, precisely in 2002, a book addressing the way how they critique the way how the products are being manufactured, the way how we treat the materials that surround us, and in general, critiquing the linear model of extract, make, use, and waste. And what they proposed under cradle-to-cradle concept is that we need to inspire and replicate what actually the natural cycles, the biological cycles. So because in the nature, if you take a look at it from a different perspective, there is no concept of waste. Everything is becoming a nutrient for one another through different processes, for different natural processes. And this is one of the core part of the cradle-to-cradle framework, which is indeed contributing to fostering circular economy models, where also the resources, there is no concept of waste. All materials should be treated as resources. So this is something that requires a mindset shift to start looking at any type of material as a nutrient for a different process. This way, the idea is behind cradle to cradle is to replicate or let's say integrate in the natural cycles. Obviously, all of these processes do require energy. Even in natural process, energy is needed, and one of the important elements of the cradle-to-cradle principles is renewable energy to power those cycles. And the focus here would be decouple from fossil energy and prioritize use of, for example, solar energy, something that is also happening in biological cycles. And this is important because as of today, right, as you can imagine, a lot of materials that surround us are not, let's say, natural materials. They do originate from complex processes, complex industrial processes, what are denominated as technical nutrients. And these technical nutrients do require quite energy-intensive processes. So that is why the focus on renewable energy is also one of the critical points of a cradle-to-cradle design framework. And last, but one of the most important ones, is the celebrate diversity principle. Celebrate the diversity of ecosystems, cultures, solutions that strengthen our resilience. In this sense, celebrate diversity can be interpreted as a way, like I mentioned earlier, there is no solution, one only solution that fits everyone and everything. So that is why we do need to value the diversity and adapt and to the right solution to the specific circumstances. So this way, we do celebrate the diversity of these different ways to approach certain solutions. If you haven't read the book, I definitely encourage you to get your hands on one of the copies of Cradle to Cradle. And actually, this is it's an important moment in the Cradle to Cradle, let's say, progress, because a few weeks ago, Cradle to Cradle has achieved its new version. A new version of the certification standard has been released, version 5. And as the founders of the Cradle to Cradle principles, they celebrate this achievement that always Cradle to Cradle is striving for, is to go beyond the regulations, beyond compliance, and actually I would say the support different actors to go forward for safer products, for better production, and foster the circular economy. So I definitely do encourage you to have a read on this book if you haven't done it yet. So how do we enable then circularity? If we look at the after the Cradle to Cradle principles, how do we enable that? So obviously, it's critical to design and manufacture safe and circular products, because by this, what it will enable is to use of these products in a more complex system, such as, for example, can be construction solutions or other more complex system elements. And of course, in order to be able to recirculate these nutrients, we do need to understand, let's say, the information about them. And that is why traceability is another aspect that is critical for enabling circularity. Because this way, we will be able to also share the verified information across different actors that will support this construction of circular systems, new partnerships, and innovate in new business models. So this is just an overview on how the products that are designed for circular economy can actually make a very important impact, not only on, let's say, a product scale, but contribute to a system change towards circular economy. So now let's dive deep into Cradle to Cradle Certified. Cradle to Cradle Certified is a product standard products program that is based on the Cradle to Cradle design framework. It has been established in as a certification scheme in 2005. Very few years after, very soon after the publication of the book, and in the past years, it has gained its notoriety of one of the most exigent, rigorous certification scheme, multi-attribute certification scheme, because even though it is focused on products, it does evaluate also manufacturing process, the design process, and the end-of-use process, because it does have this holistic approach to it, through looking at the life cycle of the products, from extraction to the future life, so to speak, of these products. And like I said, recently, a couple of weeks ago, Cradle to Cradle Products Innovation Institute, the organization that manages and ensures that the standard is being, let's say, relevant and supporting this continuous improvement for circular economy, has published a new version of this standard. And this is something that we are going to look into today, how this new standard is supporting companies in moving forward and innovate with their products, and what value it adds to the businesses and within the different value networks. So Cradle to Cradle Certified, what it does, it has the scope to verify a product's performance across 5 different chapters, 5 different categories, which are material health, product circularity, clean air and climate protection, water and soil stewardship, social fairness, and in addition to that, depending on the type of product, it can it does involve assessment of animal welfare and packaging. Over the years, the Institute has introduced different types of certificates which support companies of different size and depending on the type of product to join the program and to assess their products and their practices against the standard. And as of today, there are 3 different types of certificates that manufacturers, brands can consider. The material health, which primarily focuses on the material health, chemicals that are used and selected in the product are prioritizing the protection of human health and environment, as its name states. Then we have circularity that have been introduced 2 years ago, that indeed verifies the product that the product has been designed considering the circular systems, and it evaluates not only the design of the product itself, but also sourcing and how the company is contributing to build this circular system to make sure that this product, by the end of its first use, is being cycled through different pathways. These 2 are the, let's say, derivatives of the full scope certificate. The full scope, let's say, would be a premium version of the Cradle to Cradle certified that, like I said, assesses against 5 different sustainability categories. It's important to mention that one of the maxims of Cradle to Cradle principle is first safe, then circular. So when we look at the, let's say, a scope of these different type of certificates, I'd like to highlight that even if we are aiming for only evaluating circularity of the product, the material health is a critical part of this assessment, although it is reduced to certain requirements. And of course, from our perspective, if you want to highlight and position how your product is actually being designed and manufactured, supporting human health and environmental health, is a combination of 2, material health and circularity. And of course, obviously, the ideal would be is to obtain a full scope certificate that assesses all 5 of these key chapters of the certification scheme. The certification scheme also is structured on the overall level. The overall level gets a lowest category. Here we have an example. Let's say if we are aiming for a full scope certificate, there are different chapters, and each chapter can receive a specific level from bronze to platinum. However, if we are aiming for a full scope, if one of the chapters gets the lowest level, that would be the final overall achievement, so to speak. In this case, looking at this table on the right, although the product has received a platinum level, unfortunately, in the aspects of clean air and climate protection and water and soil stewardship, only silver level has been achieved. Therefore, the product will receive silver level achievement. Once the product completes the full assessment cycle and receives its certificate, the certificate will be valid for 3 years. And since Cradle to Cradle is designed to be a continuous improvement tool, it is important that if you are aiming to recertify your product and maintain, let's say, the certification on your products, you need to demonstrate a measurable improvement at next certification cycle. This is important because indeed it, comparing to perhaps other certification schemes, it does require to demonstrate commitment on all of these different strategies across these, for example, 5 sustainability chapters, before we move forward with the next certification. This way, it's a way, let's say, to communicate also to your customers, to your clients, that you do have this commitment. And especially if you've been in the program for multiple cycles of the certification, it means that your commitment is, let's say, verified and been monitored for identifying these measurable improvements. We are very proud to showcase here one of the latest products that we have achieved together with Flamingo Fashions, achieving the certification and version 4.1. This was before the version 5 has been released. And here we can see an example of a full scope certification, how it looks like in the registry. You can see all the products that have achieved cradle-to-cradle certification on the official certified product registry of the Institute. And also you can see how each category is performing depending on the level. So here we have an example of apparel for recyclability that have a certificate that is valid until 7th of February 2028. And you can also download actual certificates that Flamingo Fashions has obtained. Here we have a full scope certificate and also material health certificate, as you can see on the right. This is interesting to look at this structure of this certificate, because it gives us a lot of information, and this is a part of which is very important, because as of today, the more and more focus is on transparency and traceability, as you know. So having a material health certificate, for example, can support you in providing this information that is usually proprietary information, but without actually revealing the confidential information. You can already communicate how your product is performing. And this indeed helps also to provide you a strong foundation when it comes to sustainable claims, to green claims, especially with under the framework of Green Claim Directive and Empowering Consumer Directive within the European Union, aligned with the EU Green Deal, to make sure that there are no false or misleading greenwashing claims that are being put on the market that might confuse the final customer. So that is why it's important. That is one of the critical added value when you are evaluating your product with a third party, right? You obtain this third party verification. You can also use very specific substantiated claims because they have been evaluated by a trained assessor, and also since the standard is science-based, it helps you also to communicate in a more comprehensible way the characteristics of the product without being, let's say, misleading, which eventually supports you in your transparency scoring and also gains your consumer trust, and for the consumer, of course, empowerment, so they better understand when they purchase a product, what is it made of, how it's been made, and the level, let's say, of commitment of the manufacturer behind with sustainability goals. So this is one of the, let's say, introduction to why choose cradle-to-cradle certified. And from our perspective, it definitely adds a strategic value to the companies within the value chain. Based on our experience as assessors, we do identify that companies that undergo cradle-to-cradle certification assessment of their products also take advantage of this in-depth, rigorous sort of audit to understand, to identify opportunities to improve market positioning, business decisions on the external level, but also on internal level, especially, like, for example, on operational level, because with the increasing exigencies from different regulations, in particular, looking at European regulations. These are one of those aspects that having cradle-to-cradle certified assessment or undergoing through cradle-to-cradle, let's say, design framework integration, this can support manufacturers and companies, for example, to build, like we said, build consumer trust and loyalty, but most importantly is also to have a better traceability, improved also supply chain due diligence. Eventually, it can also support you in strengthening your ESG credentials and generate this positive impact in reducing the risks and innovating in the way how you manufacture the product by introducing green chemistry best practices. Obviously, all of this support the companies to integrate sort of anticipatory risk management, so and identify as soon as possible and act as soon as possible to correct any potential risks, and of course prepare for, like I said, emerging regulations, because cradle to cradle has always been positioning itself as a framework to go beyond compliance. So it definitely is an important competitive advantage also to those that have introduced and integrated cradle-to-cradle principles across different operations within their company. And as we will see a little bit further in this presentation, the aspects, what it means to get a cradle-to-cradle certification, how to prepare for this assessment, you will see that it gives a robust foundation for upcoming digital product passport requirement under different European Union regulations, such as ESPR, Eco Design for Sustainable Product Regulation, just to name one, which also covers and overlaps with some of the cradle-to-cradle requirements, as we will see now. So since the cradle-to-cradle program have been supporting companies and for over almost soon going to be 2 decades, there are a lot of other external entities that have been supporting and recognizing the cradle-to-cradle certified products. Here we have some international entities and also other certification schemes that endorse the cradle-to-cradle certified products. Some of them you're quite familiar, I imagine. This is, let's say, an overview, not only on textile and apparel and footwear products, but also in other industries, and I will explain why. Here are some of the examples that we have recently conducted assessment for, here we have on the left an example of the modern meadow input material, which is a substitute for leather, the dry white, which is a base for Innovera, an innovative material that is designed to substitute the leather. On the right side, we have a denim collection that have also completed a full scope assessment under version 4 with Bonprix. Other products can also obtain the cradle-to-cradle certification recognition, such as, for example, construction, built environment, sorry. In this case, we have an example from Andrea World Technical Seatings. And actually, Andrea World, in this case, has almost all the products that they manufacture have been assessed for cradle-to-cradle certification. Tables, seatings, you can see further in the registry. Technical flooring. Here we have on the right an example of the technical raised floors from an Italian manufacturer, Nesite. And here are a little bit more other of products that we have supported all these companies to obtain the certification for cradle to cradle on different scope, whether it's a full scope or only circularity or material health. All right. So let's move on and see how is the certification journey. So what do you shall expect? What it means to obtain a specific, let's say, recognition in each category, and how you shall be preparing as an overview, and what value it will add to you if you are, let's say, getting ready for under this framework to obtain certification for your product. Well, the reason I was also before explaining that there are different certification schemes, different type of entities, retailers, not only focusing on the textile industry, but also other industries are endorsing cradle to cradle. This is because this is one of the programs that has a very wide scope, a wide range of products that can be actually certified. It can be a textile, it can be a consumer good, construction products, input materials, cosmetics and personal care, electrical and electronic products, children's products, to name a few. However, of course, there are also some of the products that cannot be certified under cradle to cradle certification scheme. In particular, when they are designed against the principles of the cradle to cradle. Obviously, here's a list to have a clear understanding, right? What type of products are not aligned and not designed to be cradle to cradle, such as weapons, such as products that are intrinsically tied to toxic active ingredients, so they cannot be optimized for human and environmental health, chemicals or products that consume non-renewable fuel or electricity, materials and substances derived from vertebrates and invertebrates that are killed primarily for their hide, skins, feathers, for example, pharmaceuticals, packaging or products that are not designed, they are not intended to be for circularity or promote non-circularity. Obviously, these products, they are non-eligible for certifying under cradle to cradle. So once we decide to certify or assess a product under cradle to cradle certification, what we need to look at is, first of all, is to identify what product composition is. So the applicant, the company that it can be a company that is manufacturing product directly, or it can be a company that manufacturing through external manufacturing sites by subcontracting, right? This production process. These different scenarios are evaluated, and they are eligible, let's say, for to initiate this process. And of course, since this is a cradle to cradle certification, is a product certification, we need to understand what product is made of. So that is why initial step would be constructing a comprehensive, detailed bill of materials. Once we have this definition of the initial scope, the assessment starts to expand, because in order to obtain information regarding the materials, regarding the origin of materials, its composition, to ensure its compliance with cradle to cradle certification standard, that involves the engagement with the supply chain. And as we all know, the supply chains can be quite complex networks, and it does require a lot of effort and a very structured process to collect this data, especially regarding the chemical composition, the material compliance with cradle to cradle requirements, information on the origin of these materials, whether it's cycled, whether it's renewable. All of this process is done through collecting this information from the suppliers upstream. And from since we are at EIG, we are an assessment body. This is one of the work that we do as a third-party trustee to work with your, for example, suppliers, because a lot of information that is required to verify whether the product is compliant and meeting the requirements of the cradle-to-cradle certified products standard is considered confidential. So of course, it's important to partner with entity that is trained and accredited to assess this and to collect this information from different levels of your suppliers. As you can see here, depending on the complexity of the product and your supply chain, we can go down to tier 5, 6, and so on, in order to obtain the information regarding the origin of the materials. And the reason for that is that when it comes to assessment of the cradle-to-cradle, under cradle-to-cradle of the materials, is that we go to practically at molecular level. So we need to ensure that we have understanding the chemistry behind the product. And of course, since the cradle-to-cradle has a life cycle perspective, we do also need to understand how this product is being used, and after its initial use, how it's going to be cycled. This is why, especially, we will see that under product circularity category, not only we look at the composition of the product, whether it's integrating the circular sources, but also is designed for that, but also how companies are enabling cycling infrastructure through building partnerships or innovating through their own business model, for example, through take-back programs, to ensure that this product that is, in a sense, composed of different nutrients are being maintained within different biological or technical cycles. And of course, for this, it's important to count on a reliable cycling partner whenever your product, whatever your product is being put on the market. So like I said, all of this process from, let's say, from the extraction of the material, whether it's a virgin or cycled source, up to how this product is going to be managed by the end of its first use, it's important to partner with a general assessor and a material health assessor for in-depth third-party verification process. Our role as a general assessor at the EIG is to collect all of this data, collect all the evidences, to be able to develop a report, an assessment form that confirms indeed that the product and manufacturing process and the, let's say, the commitment of the company to enable circularity across its, let's say, life of this product is indeed based on a strategic plan. There is an action plan. There are already ongoing actions to implement these improvements, and you acknowledge that by let's say, joining the cradle-to-cradle products program. Once we have this report is being submitted to the Cradle-to-Cradle Products Innovation Institute. Cradle-to-Cradle Innovation Institute runs, let's say, an audit based on the report that have been submitted by the general assessor. And once it is confirmed that indeed it covers all of these requirements, the institute issues a certificate based on, let's say, the initial aim of the applicant, whether it's full scope certificate, material health certificate, pro circularity certificate, or all three of them at once. Okay, so let's move on to actually understanding how each of these categories work, what is the scope of the assessment for each of them, and see how the companies can be better prepared once you are aiming to obtain cradle-to-cradle certification for your product. So first of all, material health is a critical pillar of the cradle-to-cradle design framework, the health and safety of the materials that are being used in the product that surround us. So here are a couple of questions, so 5 questions precisely, to have a sort of self-assessment to understand at which level you are ready to start this in-depth, quite rigorous assessment process. Key questions. Do you have a full material breakdown to homogeneous level? Do you systematically screen against substances of concern, restricted substances, very persistent, very bioaccumulative substances lists, just to name a few, of course. How do you work with the suppliers? Do suppliers provide you verified composition data, whether through declarations or through other third-party verifications? How do you manage the information on your materials and substances within your operations? Do you have, let's say, a centrally stored and controlled chemical data or material data? How do you ensure that what type of materials are going into the end of product? And of course, if you identify potential risks that might jeopardize the health and safety of these materials, what are the safer alternatives you're already looking into? What do you have a substitution strategy? So these are some of the questions it's definitely worth to ask your team to understand the readiness for material health assessment. So the core of this category, and of course also existing as a separate certification, specifically focusing on the health of the materials, is going from the reactive compliance to proactive safe chemistry governance. One of the aspects that determine whether the product is material health compliant is that there is a clear characterization at the homogeneous material level. Materials are free of restricted and high-risk substances. There is a third-party toxicological assessment of these materials that have been conducted under cradle-to-cradle material health methodology. For some of the products, especially for the construction products or interior products, indoor and outdoor air quality and the health of users is protected. So, for example, VOC emissions and content tests should be also compliant with the allowed thresholds. And of course, what is the strategy to optimize chemistry within the supply chain? So this characterizes what it means, right? The product that has material health achievement. Obviously, based on the level, there can be, let's say, much more covered under all of these characteristics or less, but it already sends a message that the company behind this product is actually engaging actively to promote safe chemistry within its value chain. And this also means for your, let's say, for external stakeholders that you do have knowledge and you do have management processes that allow you to promote full material transparency internally and work with your suppliers. You do have right practices to hazard identification and corrective actions to eliminate in case if you identify some of these hazards within the product. That you engage in actively in optimizing chemistry over time. Obviously, it does require a lot of efforts, resources, different stakeholders to be involved to identify how you can make your product adopt the green chemistry practices. Obviously, if we work through this perspective, it means that the value of these materials in the long term will also help to have let's say, enable a circular economy where materials that are being cycled are actually free of these restricted and high-risk substances. And obviously, since it does require an important engagement with your supply chain, it does also mean that you do have established a supply chain due diligence within your procurement or purchasing departments, and also this knowledge is being distributed across different departments, design departments, manufacturing, quality control, like I said, purchasing, and such. And moving forward to product circularity, this is an important also scope of the assessment for the especially very relevant with the rise of different regulations is the way how the products are integrating, whether they're technical or biological nutrients, how are the products that are being put on the market compatible with the intended cycle, whether it's recycling, reuse, remanufacturing, refurbishment, durability, whether the product that is being manufactured is designed to be easily separated by material, especially if we're talking about the product that is multi-material. Do you have reliable sources of secondary materials to enable use of cycled content in the product, something that has been actively, let's say, increasing demand, right? Even on the regulatory level, to use materials and products that do have a minimum cycled content. But it's very important to also understand the origin of the cycled content, because there is always a risk that the cycled content might contain substances of concern, because these products haven't been screened for these substances before, or might not be intended for these future uses. And of course, how do you actively identify these recovery channels? How do you partner with different other actors to enable cycling infrastructure in the future for your products? So when the product is obtaining a product circularity recognition on the cradle to cradle, it means that indeed you have acknowledge whether the product is defined for technical or biological cycle. You have proven material compatibility with intended pathways. You have also sufficient information, sufficient evidence to verify the origin, whether it has been also responsibly sourced, and the quality of the secondary material that you've used in your manufacturing process. Here it's the robust chain of custody due diligence definitely supports you to have this information flowing across the value chain. From the design perspective, it also means that, especially if it's a multi-material product, whether it's designed for disassembly and recovery, like I said, enabling product cycling through partnerships and business model innovation. In order to prepare for this or demonstrate that the product and the whole process behind do support this, it does require introduction of different practices, such as chain of custody, quality and consistency control of the secondary materials, close work with the designers of the product as well, to, for example, to ensure that this product eventually can be easily separated, and also some of the materials are being avoided, for example, those that make the product basically inseparable, and makes it much more complicated to give this material a second life and retain its value. This in-depth assessment for the circularity, as you can see, not only it focuses on the recycled content, but also design aspects and also material health aspects, gives a robust foundation for digital product passports that will be required by the ESPR once the product has been placed in the European Union market. It provides let's say, the verification of the data of the origin. It also helps to maintain end-of-use value for these materials and products. And of course, it can contribute significantly to long-term business resilience by implementing these good practices for under product circularity framework. So to summarize this, the products that have achieved this, it means that behind there's a different departments, different actors that are actually engineering circularity of their products for next life. Okay. Moving forward, we will start to review the requirements for manufacturing processes, such as clean air and climate protection and water and soil stewardship. Mindful of your time, I apologize for extending a little bit, so I do appreciate if you can still be with us for a moment. However, if not, you can always, I believe, check the YouTube recording afterwards. So thank you for your patience. All right, so when we talk about the production of the cradle-to-cradle products or materials, we also take into account how these products have been manufactured and whether the resources that are needed been managed responsibly. This indeed also covers the use of energy and the origin of energy. So here are also some of the few questions to consider for, let's say, quick self-assessment. Do you have an accurate metered electricity data, or are other energy that has been used in the facilities during the production process? Can you allocate energy use to the product level? Do you have a defined renewable procurement plan for the energy that is being used? What's your strategy on this, and what are the actions you are taking to ensure that you are incrementing progressively the use of renewables? How do you quantify emissions? And of course, what is your decarbonization roadmap with the clear actions and timeline to address this also progressively? So for clean air and climate protection scope, there is a strong focus on use of renewables. One of that would be the second pillar of the cradle-to-cradle principles, use of renewables, renewable energy. And here, when the product achieves clean air and climate protection, it means that the renewable energy is being used at least 5%, for example, for bronze level, and 100% on-site production at platinum level. Obviously, there are different pathways, the way how it can be met. I will not get into technical details. Of course, can discuss that and evaluate case by case. But the purpose here is to support companies to implement a clear roadmap for this decarbonization, for use of renewables, and addressing embedded greenhouse gas emissions with this production process. So once you do this assessment, it supports you to have a clear understanding and overview on the energy use and emissions. It does mean that you do need to address the greenhouse gas emissions if they are quite elevated comparing to the thresholds allowed for clean air and climate protection requirements, but also it does require you to establish a plan to reduce that on the short, mid, and long term. So these reduction targets are part of your, they have to be part of your product strategy. And all of these control points allow you to demonstrate that you have a stronger climate governance, not only at the product level, but also on the whole production process. Especially it's a relevant element considering that starting this year there is a carbon regulation. This is CBAM. That can be definitely helpful for you to arrange that and control it information on your energy and emissions in a more structured way. Moving forward with water and soil stewardship, let's say one of the critical part, especially if we look at the apparel, garments, and footwear industries. I believe in this sense, there have been a lot of already efforts done to ensure that there is a pushed innovation for reduction of the contamination in effluents through regular tests on discharge quality, the innovative solutions how to reduce the use of water, how the facilities are prepared for the stressed regions, and how do you also identify whether within your supply chain you have suppliers that need to address water scarcity or water contamination, and how do you prepare for that through the strategic improvement plan or conservation plan, and what are the targets. So these are also some of the questions that definitely important to ask yourself within the company to understand the readiness to demonstrate your water and soil stewardship excellence. The products that have achieved the water and soil stewardship recognition have demonstrated their effluent compliance, obviously, chemical restrictions as well, through the process chemicals, for example, that there are no chemicals that might be considered hazardous or of risk or substances of concern. You have a structured and quantification of the water use, and you are able to allocate the use of water at the product level through different monitoring practices. You do have a water management system based on your context. So, that means that you do implement technologies to water conservation. You also engage with different stakeholders on watershed, wherever your facility is located. You do have capacity to scenario planning, for example, for drought, and consider within your strategy investment in water efficiency technologies. That also covers soil protection to ensure that that supports ensuring that there are no chemicals that are being used during the production processes do not create persistent contamination. You do have a plan in the reducing in case if there are hazardous substances, plus reducing the effluent components. You do handle potential risks of spillage and waste that might contaminate soil and water. So based on this practices, it demonstrates your water and soil stewardship excellence, and indeed sends a message that you have a substantiated readiness for different scenarios, and definitely aligning with the also energy and emission governance. You have overall a stronger climate governance having these best practices implemented. Another chapter that Cradle to Cradle certified is evaluating is, of course, that the products are being made in a responsible manner. So social fairness is a critical chapter of the C2C, and which requires companies to adhere to a human right policy, to have a monitoring process for potential social risks within your value chain. You do have also a channel for grievance that is anonymous and of course functional. So there is a process behind to address if there are any issues being informed through these grievance channels. You have a robust social due diligence management process within the company that covers also your supply chain. And of course, that involves a corrective action system in case any issues are being reported or identified. So, like I said, the social fairness category, or the set of the requirements, support companies to demonstrate that their accountability on the social aspects, and they are evaluated to demonstrate this commitment through specific actions, through specific management system to implement this human rights policy and the company's commitment, not only within the company, but also across its value chain. And this helps by demonstrating this commitment and implementation of these actions. It supports companies to demonstrate that they can reduce hidden social risk shocks across its operations and through their suppliers. They can demonstrate that they are procurement ready for different, let's say, ESG-driven buyers. So they can demonstrate this through this robust management system that supports implementing the best practices to protect human rights. Moving forward, so we just covered all these 5 critical chapters that Cradle to Cradle Certified evaluates under full scope. And there are additional chapters, especially for this, focusing on the products that do have packaging when they are being put on the market, or contain animal derived materials in its composition. So first we'll go over the packaging requirements and what it means to complete this, to demonstrate this compliance with the packaging requirements. It does combine requirements of material health and circularity, but also, indeed, all of these materials need to be responsibly sourced. So it also involves part of the social requirements within it. So when it comes to packaging, we cannot consider any product circular if their packaging is not compliant also with this circular practices. So like I said, material health criteria is considered. Especially we know that packaging can contain inks, adhesive coatings that might have, for example, highly halogenated substances. So this is being screened. Also, the companies need to, if there are any possible potential hazardous additives, there need to be a way for them to remove them. Also, the companies need to, it means that they have a full material disclosure for packaging components on different layers. And they also involve in the selection of their packaging circularity criteria, whether it is cycled by the end of its use. Usually packaging has a very short life, so it is important that it is compatible with different cycling pathways. There are no, let's say, minimized use of incompatible materials. That the companies that integrate this packaging also map recycling infrastructure. So indeed, by this we demonstrate that this packaging can be actually cycled. The origin is similar with the actual product. The packaging also needs to be sourced through responsibly sourced materials, recycled or renewable, and demonstrate the best practices in terms of monetization of quality and traceability. And when it comes to the further cycling of this product, like I said, one of the non-eligible materials products that they cannot be certified Cradle to Cradle if they are not intended for circularity. So here there is a further support on reuse and refill systems. How this type of packaging, these are, let's say, encouraged to be implemented in specific type of products, for example, in cosmetics. And moving forward to animal welfare. So for the animal welfare, if the product does have animal-derived inputs in animal-derived materials, such as, for example, wool, silk, leather, this means that the product needs to be assessed for animal welfare. And And a few questions to run this self-assessment is whether you have the capacity to trace materials beyond tier 1 supplier. Are you aware whether your suppliers are aligned with recognized welfare standards? And how do you map high-risk sourcing geographies of the material that you are sourcing? Animal welfare covers the aspects regarding the proper living condition of the animals, the avoidance of unnecessary suffering. It evaluates responsible slaughter practices. It does require also supplier due diligence, monitorization, how these high-risk practices are being eliminated, and how the companies that are using this type of materials are implementing within their supply chain this monitorization and support their suppliers to implement these best practices to ensure that their material that that they're sourcing from animals are following a set of ethical best practices, and how the companies are engaging then with these suppliers to align with animal welfare requirements. This means once the product has achieved the animal welfare, it means that the company is supporting this work through strengthening ethical sourcing credibility. It demonstrates that this process has been verified. So there is not just a marketing claim, but it actually been verified up to the farm. It definitely can support also to qualify for your product for different new markets at premium level, for example, and other on markets where the aspect of biodiversity and ethical sourcing is critical. And of course, it supports you to identify what are the risks, so you can lower your reputational risks and improve the quality of your animal-derived inputs and improve your engagement with your suppliers. So once you decide to submit your product for such a rigorous and exigent assessment, here are a few steps to consider. The assessment steps can be summarized, let's say, in 5 phases, as the way how eco-intelligent growth works. Once we define the scope of the product to be assessed, we initiate the evaluation process that requires indeed conduct this assessment against different categories to ensure that indeed the best practices are being implemented or in the process of being implemented, to be able to validate your compliance against Cradle to Cradle certified. Then we move forward to verification phase together with the Cradle to Cradle Progress Innovation Institute. And like I said, the Institute, once they confirm that all the evidence and the report are being aligned with the requirements, we can consider that the goal is achieved, because we would receive the certificate. And since it has this continuous improvement framework, it will have a set of, let's say, next steps. Since you designed this improvement strategy, it's important that in the next 3 years, while the certificate is being valid, you do progressively implement these measurable improvements within your processes. So in this part, we also accompany you to prioritize and to evaluate what are the, let's say, feasible and improvements that need to be considered within this before you renew your certification. More or less, depending on the complexity of the product, also complexity of the value chain, and of course the readiness to obtain this recognition, the timeline can vary. Usually, it can take from, let's say, 7 to 12 months to conduct this assessment, including the issuance of the certificate. However, in practice, like I said, it depends on the level of readiness of the company, of engagement with the supply chain, and of course, in this case, it does require to implement certain corrective actions before we move forward with the final assessment part. And like I said, once you achieve the certificate will be valid for 3 years. When you decide to consider cradle-to-cradle certification for your products, it's also important to understand the fee structure behind the cradle-to-cradle. We here with this slide, I think it gives a good overview. Obviously, it's we strongly recommend you to consult the certification fee structure defined by Cradle-to-Cradle Products Innovation Institute. However, just to give you an overview, it does consist of 2 types of, let's say, fees: assessment and reporting preparation, which is the labor of the general assessor and material health assessor, and it does require a request for quotation because it depends, like I said, on complexity of the product and readiness of the applicant. And then the second part would be actual certification fees that need to be paid to the for the management of this application, your sort of membership fee, annual fee, and potentially even consider a private level certification in case if there are, let's say, external parties that are interested in your product that are already certified, can actually make use of this certificate, because the product is essentially is the same. You don't have to take care of that. That should be done, of course, with your interested party to manage this part. But for the companies that want to have their own certification, they would need to consider 2 important fees, which is application for certification fee, which is the initial certification. It is based on 2026 pricing, 5,500 euros for the new certification. And if you're recertifying, let's say after initial cycle, it's 3,600 euros for a certification. And annual fee. Annual fee is based on your annual revenues of the corporate entity or individual entity carrying the certified brand. This one will depend, well, like I said, on your revenue, and you will be reporting this when you're applying for cradle-to-cradle certification. All right. I apologize for extending it, the session. So if you agree with that, we will not dedicate the Q&A. However, I do look forward to receive your questions after this session. And I do also would like to kindly ask you to complete this feedback questionnaire so we can also understand whether this session was practical for you, if you have any doubts. And of course, this way we can improve further in the next training session. So thank you very much all for your time, for your attention, for your interest in Cradle-to-Cradle Certified. As SMS and AIG, we do hope to support you in these sustainability challenges. So we definitely look forward to your feedback.
Thank you. Thank you for your session, and it was an excellent delivery. And thank you, Naimbai, for your reaction. So a lot of people already our existing client here were looking here. Naimbai is there, Afluba is there from Pioneer. So I would Papia is also is there. So I would like to ask some feedback from them. If you have okay, you can turn on your camera. So let's get together type. So if there is any question, any feedback, so we are here for to answer your question, or further we can write to you. Just let us know, as I already told. So Naimbai, I would like to ask you something if you want to say if everything was okay or not, and also Papiappa, please share us if you want to tell something.
Thank you, Khalid bhai, to remember remember me and call me. And my opinion is this is a very, very, very good conversation or meeting. Uh, let us study with this meeting review meeting, and then we can feedback. Get back with the
Okay.
feedback.
Okay. Thank you, Naimbai. Papiappa, can you hear us? And today
Yes,
into
yes.
this, yes, Appa. Can you do you want to share anything?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thanks for detail everything. And yeah, actually, is it possible to share the PPT with us? It's better for us. Okay, so let's start our work. And if any difficulties, I will check with you. And thank you for everything.
Yes. I would like to answer this question. Sure, we made all this effort only for our better understanding and learning. And this slide obviously we'll share with you and go through again it. And also this video is available in the YouTube channel. So if any confusion, you can watch it. And any confusion, just or query, just please let us know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Appa. And would like to go to Mr. Salman. I think Mr. Salman has joined from Pakistan team. So would also like to get some feedback.
No, first of
Hi.
all, thank you. Hello, thank you for your time, and it was a really wonderful training. And definitely, these sort of activities always better for the organization, for the team, and for the industry. So I want to appreciate you, and I think we should continue these sort of activities. And I want to appreciate you, for organizing this wonderful event. Many thanks. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, brother. We're working since long time, but unfortunately today I think we're first meeting. And now I think if anyone Afluva is there or not, nine pioneers. So if anyone want to share anything, just feel free to ask any question or any feedback. I think Shadul Bhai is there, right? Shadul sir, can you hear me?
Yes.
So
Yes,
thank
I'm
you for your
listening to you.
time. Shadul sir is from Moscow, Tasnia. Moscow group is there. So can you, if you want to share anything, it will be great for us also.
No, just I don't have any specific queries right at this moment, but could you please explain that what would be the changes within 3 to 5 years to comply with the C2C requirement for our industries? Have you got my point?
Yes, I think I can answer this. Yeah, please.
Thank you very much for this question. It's an excellent question. Definitely no let's say direct answer at the moment, because it definitely involves a lot of different actors to support this transformation, and from 3 to 5 years. But from our experience and the way from our vision as an assessment body that's been working with cradle to cradle for almost 2 decades now, is definitely requires consistency, resilience, and adaptability to these different scenarios. And cradle to cradle framework definitely provides these tools, a good baseline, a good basis race to be prepared for these changes. Like I said, cradle to cradle framework is a continuous improvement framework. So it does encourage and actually requires to companies to have this 3 to 5 years vision, or even more long-term vision, because the products, especially in the garment industry can have a very long, let's say, use phase. So it does mean that when companies are designing, selecting the materials and manufacturing them, do need to consider this part when taking these decisions. Before putting this product on the market. And cradle to cradle framework definitely gives a good, let's say, basis to navigate in the potential risks in the future. And like I said, it can serve as this anticipatory risk management framework, especially focused on the sustainability aspects of different industries. Since it's a framework that can be used for textile industries, for construction products industry, it's very versatile. But of course, it gives this room for flexibility based on the realities of each sector. So it works well when it comes to the cradle-to-cradle certification in itself. It works also well with integrating other very specific or narrow scope schemes. For example, recently, last year, there was a publication on this partnership with Oikotex, with ZDHC, because it's important that there is a, let's say, compatibility and across different sectors, because of course it's quite complex when it comes to sustainability. So this cooperation is beneficial, and this is one of the third, let's say, pillars of cradle to cradle principles, is celebrate diversity. I hope I have provided you a little bit of more, let's say, vision on how we see in 3 to 5 years the cradle to cradle. Obviously, it is, let's say, need to be evaluated case by case. But the intention is there, is to become the tool for this continuous improvement with this holistic vision for long term.
Thank you very much for your excellent explanation. But I would like to add some point with you with your specific and fantastic words. That, as you said, that sustainability would be one of the key point of your C2C requirement in future. As you know that you are also aligned with European Union Due Diligence Act, and also OECD, and also UNGP. UNGP was also from the very beginning of C2C. It was already five chapter was also there, especially the grievance. You know that for grievance chapter, EU due diligence is specifically working, and also as per your explanation, risk management. And risk management is also included in the OECD, in the EU legislation. So those are already, those are especially, those requirements are new from 2024, for 1st January of 24, and it would be implemented, as you know, that in July 27, companies with more than 500 employees or 1.5 billion in global turnover. And in July 28, companies with more than 300, 3,000 employees or 900 million in turnover. And also in 29, all remaining companies falling within this scope. So that is the change of EU, you know, that EU requirement. So I know that C2C is a complicated, is a specific and a specialized package complied with lots of legislations and international framework, as you also already mentioned earlier. So that is why just I wanted to know that what change would be impacted in future. Still it is C2C, you know, that is a tough for us, and we are sometimes we are unable to comply with our specific requirement in wages area. So that is why just I asked and requested to know the changes. Yes, especially, thank you so much for your guidance. And as you mentioned that ZDSC and Okotex would be one of the vital point here. Yeah, that's why just I mentioned. And my short, and I want to have very specific and short response from you, that in future, do you have any plan to incorporate OECD or deduct UNGP guideline? UNGP already included all there. So do you have any plan to incorporate EU legislation in future? Just in short, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this question. Actually, it is already, let's say, integrated because in the framework of the Cradle to Cradle certified since its release of version 4, it has been demonstrated through third-party review. Actually, you can consult it on the C2C PII webpage. Its alignment with different directives and regulations on the European Union. And there's a detailed report for example, for the ESPR, for CSRD, for CS due diligence. It demonstrated that having Cradle to Cradle certification completed definitely gives you this advantage. Like you've mentioned, there is a specific timeline for introduction putting in, let's say, of these regulations. So there is a little bit of time in some cases to prepare for that. And the companies that have started this assessment with C2C actually have the advantage because they, since the framework is aligned with the European Green Deal regulations, it helps companies to be prepared and anticipate these regulatory requirements and potentially risks under this assessment. So I do think it definitely worth to discuss this perhaps off this session to see what are your challenges now to get prepared for these regulatory changes for specifically in your case, and see how we can support you to anticipate and be prepared for that if you are selling products in the European Union.
Okay, thank you. So kind of you for your very nice words and excellent cooperation with your information. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shadul Bhai, for your valuable question and for your answer also. So I think we are already out of time, and if you have not any emergency or anything, any further question, if you don't have, I would like to close the session for today.
Hey, yeah, like you said, if you have further questions, please reach out to SMS team or to EIG team. I definitely appreciate if you can also provide your feedback through the link that we shared through the chat. And after this session, the team will share with you the PPT, the slide deck of what we've seen in the past hour. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for your attention, for your time, and for very good questions. Definitely appreciate a lot the effort of SMS to organize this training session.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Bye bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.